Hey, we're Solemn Sun, you're watching CampusTV.
My name's Joe.
We're here with Solemn Sun, previously Jim Lockie and the Solemn Sun, ahead of their first ever show at the Exchange in Bristol. First of all, first show under the new moniker as a new band. Are there any nerves, guys? Or just treating it like a normal show?
Yeah, I guess we've been working on this for about 12 months now, so it's like it's the first time we get to play these songs to anybody but ourselves, so it's always going to be a little bit nervous, but we're faultlessly confident in what we've created and the show we've built, so yeah, kind of first night nerves, but not in a product, just in the situation.
So you were, like I said, you were previously Jim Lockie and the Solemn Sun, and then you went off and you were recording a new album and you released Wilderness of the Wild Youth, and then suddenly there's kind of a radio silence, and suddenly you came out after 2003 as just the Solemn Sun, a completely new band, new sound.
Yeah.
At what point did you kind of decide to go in this completely new direction, and kind of what were the reasons behind it?
Pretty much straight after that song came out, to be honest. We just we realised when we were doing that that part of us was dead, basically. It was time to move on and do something different. So we kind of decided then that we'd like do another tour, and then we'd look at regrouping and restarting, basically. We got to the point where our band had become something that we kind of hated, so we just wanted to do something that was completely different from what we did before, basically.
Kind of like go back to like you having complete control, being back to your roots, kind of.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's why we stepped away and we're doing the CP like ourselves and stuff. So yeah, it's a conscious decision, definitely.
So you've talked about the new EP. You've released one song from it so far, Joseph, which is kind of a bit heavier. It's a bit kind of darker than the previous stuff. Is that kind of the general direction of the EP, and what would you say were your kind of main influences for this kind of newer sound?
I think that song's a pretty good embodiment of what the EP is like. I think sonically it's got a lot more imagination in it, I think, than anything we've done previously. But I think that the EP as a whole is quite varied. It's not it's not like 5 songs that sound exactly the same. It's more of like a journey through it, really.
I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter as well saying about how we've rebranded as like a hardcore band, and it's like, it's definitely not a hardcore band, you know, like if maybe that one track does nod towards that kind of, that area of our influences, but the rest of the 4 tracks on the EP, just totally, you wouldn't think that if you listen to them, so yeah, it's just been nice to kind of group together all of our collective influences and put them into something, and finally take the band back, and we can tell people what it is instead of people telling us what it is for the whole time.
Yeah. And like you talk about collective influences, sorry this is kind of going back again, but like each record that you've produced, again going back to Jim Lockie, was kind of like, it was a bit more, I could feel the whole band coming into it each more every time, so is that kind of a further progression that you, again, it's kind of like, whereas before it might have been, say, more Jim with the songs, and then now you're kind of much more all together with the songwriting process?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think it's important to highlight that it is 2 separate projects. This isn't like the next, it's not the next kind of progression of that band. It's like we kind of put that thing to bed, and this is kind of the start of something as opposed to like the end, the ending of it. So but yeah, I guess we were always a band, and the name just sort of suggested otherwise, and it got a bit frustrating for all of us involved, and we were constantly sort of mislabeled because of it. So it's nice to label it as a band and be considered a band from the off. So yeah, this is the start.
Talking again about like kind of mislabeling stuff, like there's a kind of certain, like you might have kind of got pigeonholed into a certain scene, I guess, like a certain kind of folk punk, folk revival scene that maybe you guys weren't really part of. Like you were always very different to certain bands, and say like you were on Extra Mile, but some of the bands on Extra Mile, etc., like that kind of folk punk thing.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I personally think that none of those bands are folk punk though. Like folk punk to me are like people that can't sing, screaming over acoustic guitars, basically. That's folk punk to me, like chart and like full band music with acoustic guitars isn't folk punk, I don't really.
Yeah.
But yeah, we kind of got put in that, which is cool, I guess. Like I did play an acoustic guitar, but I don't know, we always thought it was more than that, but evidently.
Yeah, you always had a bit more kind of like, I always thought like the breakdowns and the lead guitar lines and stuff in your song were always a bit more kind of expansive than a lot of other people in that scene, I thought. Moving back to like Joseph, the video for Joseph, we're big fans of it. Like the visuals in it are very striking. Could you talk a bit more about that, like the process behind the video, or like the kind of whole vibe behind the video?
Like this song itself has like vague kind of themes of drowning, basically, in a certain aspect, because it's very much about how we felt at the close of our last project. Basically, it's like getting close to the end, but not quite giving up on it. So that idea to have that kind of underwater, like singing, struggling to breathe, kind of it being immersed in something quite heavily is a part of the visual. And we want basically everything that we do to be kind of black and white and stuff, because it's more stark and it gives like the song like that kind of darkness as well.
The last time you played the old songs at World Gym was at 2000 Trees Festival, which obviously it's Cheltenham, your hometown. You've played main stage there before. What was the little acoustic set there like, and was it a kind of planned decision to release the new song just after 2000 Trees?
Releasing the song was just pure coincidence, really. The last set was fun to do because it paid my rent, basically, so that was cool. And yeah, it was fun. Like it was a good laugh, but I don't know. It was kind of, if anything, it just served to highlight to me that it's definitely the right decision moving forward. Right? But yeah, I don't know. The times were fun when they happened, but yeah, it's done now.
You talked a bit about the EP earlier. Could you tell us a bit more about, is that all recorded? Are you still writing it? When's it coming out?
EP will be out on October 13th, and we have a tour that'll follow that in November as well. I think that goes on sale like this week.
Friday.
Yeah. Friday. Yeah.
It's all done. It's all recorded. We recorded it back at the beginning of the summer, realistically. So we've just been sat on it, waiting to release it. But we're so proud of it, man. It's like the best thing we could have hoped to make of it. And sonically, it's so rewarding to sit back and listen to something that it's kind of the record we've always wanted to make. It's whenever we talk in the van about the kind of record we wanted to make, it's this EP. So even if it goes down like a sack of shit, we're still gonna like back it so hard because it's so proud of it. It's perfect in my opinion.
Yeah.
Did you kind of take a different direction, kind of production-wise, in this one as well? And for example, is this one going to come out an extra mile as well?
Production-wise, we wanted to push it a little bit. We wanted to really kind of make that departure, and that comes down to production as well. We cited a lot of hip-hop artists like Kanye West, A$AP Rocky for the kind of drum feel of it. There's loads of ambience, there's loads of darkness in it. And yeah, I don't know, we're not putting it out an extra mile, it's coming out with no label, we're just going to release it ourselves. But that's, there's no politics in that, we're just doing it because we feel that that's the best way to release that music. But yeah, production-wise, it's unlike anything that we've ever really heard before. It's total madness in places, and it's so dialed in other places. There's hints of 80s in it, there's hints of like super up-to-date references in it as well. So it's a massive collective of everything that shaped our music taste up to this point.
If you had any advice to the incoming freshers come September, for Freshers Week and the year ahead, what would your advice be to those people coming into university?
You gave me a very good bit of advice as I started university, mate.
Yeah, what was that?
You said fuck anything that moves.
I stand by it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that'll be it.